You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we got a fun show for you today. A little NFL, a little NBA. Danny, right into NFL free agency and where, man, it's just a whole lot happening. NFL Combine happened. NFL free agency happening. T. Higgins get slapped with the franchise tag yet again. He's going to get paid, $26 million for that franchise tag, but hopefully there's a long-term deal that's worked out in enough time before this franchise tag really kicks in. But, man, Cincinnati does it again. Matthew Stafford gets a restructured deal. Mm-hmm. But the big trade is that of Deebo Samuel going from the 49ers to the Washington Commanders for a fifth-round pick. Danny, this is a big trade. And I think this definitely helps the Washington Commanders. 49ers, I don't know what strategy they're going to have here. But, man, this bodes well for the Washington Commanders. I still think they need some help on the really both O and D lines, in my opinion, to really meet and combat that of the Philadelphia Eagles. But, man, what a big trade. What say you, Danny, about the trade?
I know there were rumors that the Commanders were looking to trade for Deebo if he was on the market. That was rumored right after the season ended. I think it's a good move from Washington's standpoint. You give up a fifth-round pick. And they have a lot of cap space, so they can take on his salary, and it won't impact them that much. And I think this will give Deebo a new opportunity because they're over the last 2 years battling injury. Some people are calling him out of shape, rumored to be out of shape. So this will give him an opportunity to start anew and then also put a weapon next to Terry McLaurin. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And whomever they go with from the running back standpoint, because Deebo does, runs those jet sweeps, and he's a multi-talented type player where they can use him in a multitude of ways. But I agree, Jay. I think with this move, this is great, but they need to shore up that offensive and more the defensive line, I think, and just shore up the defense in general, because I believe they overachieved last year. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they got to be smart about this and not just spend the money foolishly and be strategic. But I thought this was a great first move for them. And then Stafford, I think, played the Raiders and Giants to get paid. Honestly, with all the things going on, it just didn't make sense for him. Why would you go to the Giants?
Yeah, he was just playing with them, man.
Yeah, the Raiders made sense a little bit, because he's older and they play indoors. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even though that division's wicked, I thought that may have been a decent fit for him if they would have brought some other pieces in. But he just played them and got what he needed from the Rams, and now they can move forward. And I'm just curious to see now where Cooper Kupp goes.
Well, somebody's got paid part. I think Rams may have to pay part of his salary in order to really trade him. I think Cooper Kupp is owed $20 million or something like that. I don't think there's going to be a team that's going to be willing to pay that much for Cooper Kupp. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see on that front, man. But, yeah, man, just a lot happening, man. Darius Slay is waived by the Eagles. He got his rings, and, they waived him, man. He was just a huge help in the secondary just over the years, man. I mean, you always heard about Darius Slay in the NFC North with the Detroit Lions, and now over with the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is going to be interesting to see where he lands, pun intended. And so We'll see, man. But there's a lot happening, man. I mean, there's rumors about Aaron Rodgers possibly being the Giants, not having to change the address. We'll see there. Giants need help in so many ways. But I'm to the point now, though, Danny, in believing no matter what players the Giants get, it's not going to matter. I think it's coaching. I think it's the executive front office. That's the problem.
Agree. And if Aaron Rodgers, I would think he would want to go either indoors, like
Hmm.
an Indianapolis Colts. The Colts have been known to bring in old dudes on their last leg, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it may not be a bad deal because that division is, I think, winnable. Uh, the Texans are losing Diggs now. I think they'll move on from Diggs. Tank Dell's out for the season. You have Nico Collins, but
Hmm. Hmm.
they what was their record? 10-7?
Yeah.
It wasn't like they just blew the doors off the division, so that may not be a bad landing spot. And like I said, he's indoors. Being older, that could help. And they have weapons in Indianapolis. They're not far off because they
Hmm.
barely missed
Hmm.
the playoffs last year.
Now a little bit into the NBA, Danny, where we're coming down to the wire, the end of the season. According to the standings here, Bucks have about 23 games left remaining in the regular season, and it's coming down to the wire. The Bucks are in the fourth position, have a similar record to that of the Pacers. Tiebreakers really helping this situation. Bucks are 7-3 in the last 10 games. Recently beat the Mavs, beat the Denver Nuggets. Both were interesting games. I think the Bucks need at least a home playoff series. Hopefully they get Bobby Portis back in condition. Granted, it'll be what, 3 games remaining left in the season when he comes back. And then he goes right into the playoffs. So according to NBA.com, the Bucks have the seventh hardest schedule remaining, and that was as of a couple of days ago. The hardest schedule remaining is that of the Phoenix Suns. I don't think Phoenix is going to really do anything. Followed by Sacramento, Denver, Portland, Lakers, Clippers, and then Milwaukee. So those are the ones with the hardest remaining schedules. To round out the top 10 is that of San Antonio, New Orleans, and Oklahoma City. As now seeding is paramount as the season wraps up. You have some people returning. Robinson for the New York Knicks, he actually returns. Um, and played okay. Had what 12 minutes in a game here, and I think he just provided some minutes here. We'll see how New York continues to progress here. They're currently in the third spot, about 5.5 games ahead of the Bucks. It may be safe to say that the top three seeds in the Eastern Conference is locked in. But when you get to the fourth, fifth, and sixth positions, with Detroit being at the sixth position, only 1 game behind us, what say you?
The Bucks have moved up. Like the Celtics, for example, they've shown a couple of warts lately where they've had some big leads in games and blew them and almost blew them, like yesterday against the Nuggets. Uh, they're sitting in the 2 spot. Cleveland's still playing well. They're 50-10 right now. But I think depending on how this all shapes up, man, the Bucks could have a nice matchup. I'm not scared of the East for them, honestly. Like the Cavaliers, I know they're 50-10. They're playing well. They're playing great. I can't,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
can't deny it. They don't really scare me from a playoff perspective because they haven't been deep in the playoffs, and that's where you would hope the Bucks' experience could prevail. Boston's always going to be scary.
Hmm.
Obviously, they're the champions, and they play the Bucks well. But the Knicks don't really scare me at all. I think that's another team. I know they're in the 3 spot, and I agree with you. I think they should be able to hold on there.
Hmm.
But we'll obviously have to see how the season unfolds here over this last quarter of the season. But the Bucks are playing well. They're getting some good victories. Now you just don't want them to play down to the competition
Right.
and take care of games they're supposed to take care of. So I think they're in good shape, man. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my Lakers. You know, they're in the two seed now, 8-2 over the last 10. Luka's getting acclimated with the team. Uh, I still think, man, the big man's going to come back to bite him in the backside in the
Yep.
playoffs. I
Yep.
think
I
they
believe
need
so
that
too.
big because Jackson Hayes, he's doing what he can, but in his crunch time, I think they still need that big man, but maybe not. But Luka's starting to get his legs. LeBron's doing what he's doing, and the team's playing well. So they've catapulted to the two spot, and now, like you said, they have a hard schedule coming up. But they just swept the Clippers, and now they're moving on. So we'll see what happens. But I had to call out the Lake Show for doing what they're doing these last 10.
Well, a team not to call out, but we're going to call them out anyway, is the Philadelphia 76ers, where they have told Joel Embiid to sit down somewhere, man. He's done for the season, and this is an absolute disaster with the Philadelphia 76ers. And I feel bad for the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Feel bad for the fans, man, because for so many years they've been told to trust the process. They trusted the process. They went to the playoffs, got bounced against Toronto with the claws jumper
Mm-hmm.
that forced when he was with Toronto. You know what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to rehash it for the Philly fans, but ever since then, man, it's just been no bueno for the Philadelphia 76ers, man. And one has to wonder, is Daryl Morey, does he need to stay around? Is it time to get a new GM? Is it time to really think about a new front office? And how do you go about offloading these contracts? Do you have these terrible contracts with Joel Embiid moving forward, Paul George moving forward? Can you even trade either one of them? What team would want them?
No.
What team would want to pay those contracts? So that's, oh man, this is just a mess in Philly, and I feel bad for Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
I If I'm the new GM, I would do Maxey a favor and trade Maxey
Mm-hmm.
to somebody and get my assets there, because otherwise you're looking at Maxey and Joel Embiid and Paul George being together for 3, 4, 5 years. And that would be just a total waste of Maxey's talent,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. So something's got to be done there. Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.